Just about. Okay, we are now live on Facebook. So we welcome those who are joining us on Facebook with all of us who are here on Zoom for our Havdalah with a bonus. And so we are going to begin with a story that Rabbi Rachel Esserman will be sharing with us momentarily.
Hello. Today we're having two short stories about Rabbi Joshua, who happened to be a very, very wise rabbi and a great teacher. But one of the things that he was also able to do was to learn from others. So the first part of it is his teaching a lesson, and the second part is his telling about when he learned a lesson. So even though Rabbi Joshua was a great teacher and a wonderful person, he was not particularly handsome. In fact, some people would have called him ugly. And in fact, since he lived in the time of the Roman Empire, the daughter of the emperor once saw him and said, "Oh, such a pity, such great wisdom and such a really ugly vessel." Now, if it had been someone else rather than Rabbi Joshua, he would have probably said something nasty back, but that was not the kind of thing that he did. So instead, he asked the emperor's daughter a question. He says, "Your father has a large storehouse of wine. What kind of vessels are the wines stored in?" She said, "Why, earthenware vessels." "Well," Rabbi Joshua said, "don't ordinary people keep their wine in earthenware vessels? You're an important person. Shouldn't you keep your wine in finer materials like gold or silver so it's fancier when it comes and people get it poured out?" So the princess thought about that and thought, yes, why? We're special. We should have our wine in special vessels. And she talked to her father and asked if they could put all the wine that they had in their wine cellar into silver and gold vessels. And the emperor never wanted to deny his daughter anything, and he was so busy with other stuff. He just kind of said yes, 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 without really thinking about what she was asking. So all the wine was poured into gold and silver vessels, and the next time that they had dinner, they put the wine up and started to pour it. And the emperor took a taste and spit it out. Oh, it was terrible. It was sour. It was spoiled. So the emperor said to his daughter, "Who in the world told you to do this? Where did you get this idea from?" And the daughter, of course, said, "Well, Rabbi Joshua was the one who suggested I should do this." So the emperor, who could do those kind of things, immediately had Rabbi Joshua brought before him and said, "My daughter says that you advised her we should put all the wine in vessels of silver and gold. Why did you give my daughter this advice? Seems that the wine can only be preserved in earthenware vessels." "Indeed, that's true," said Rabbi Joshua. And he turned to the emperor's daughter and said, "So too can a person who is not handsome contain great wisdom." And at that, the emperor's daughter learned two lessons. One, don't judge a person by their outer looks. And two, never, ever, ever put wine in silver or gold containers. The other thing that Rabbi Joshua once friends asked him, "You're a great teacher. What lessons have you been taught?" Rabbi Joshua said, "I learned two lessons once from a young girl years ago. I was on a journey and I came to a crossroads. I was carrying a wagon and I didn't know which way to go to the town. So there was a young girl by picking flowers. So I called out to her with a greeting of peace and said, 'I'm lost. Which road leads to town?' The young girl approached my wagon and said, 'The long road, that road is long, but short. And that road is short, but long.' So of course I took the second road, which is the short road, but all seemed to be going well. And then all of a sudden I arrived at some vineyards and I couldn't drive my wagon through it. I could see the town from there, but I had to turn around and go back to the crossroads. And when I got there, the young girl was still there. And I said, why did you tell me this road was short? The young girl laughed at me and said, you see, you could not approach the town directly through the vineyards and the orchards. Said you had to return to this point. But it is true that it's shorter if you could have walked all the way through there without your wagon. Now, the other road, which takes you a little bit around, is longer, but it's shorter because you won't have to repeat yourself. And I was about to leave when I noticed that the girl had picked up a covered basket. I said, what's in the basket? I asked her. At that point, she turned to me and responded and said, the basket is covered, sir, so that others will not see what I do not want them to see. And with that, the young girl walked down the road. So I learned two valuable lessons. Not only did I learn that I have to be listened carefully to the answer to any question, but I also learned when to mind my own business and not ask a question. So he was a wise man in many ways to learn from that. And that's our story about our wise rabbi for tonight.
Thank you for sharing those stories with us tonight. So we are going to continue with Havdalah. And so I hope that you have your wine or juice, your candle, and your spices or something sweet to smell. And we'll begin by lighting our candles. And this time I have everything up in the chat ahead of time for us. So unless anybody joined us after I put it up there. So let me see who's here. If anyone joined after Robin, I need to reshare. Oh, Bruce may have joined afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to did you? Okay, so do I have all of you can see the blessings and Eliyahu Hanavi and Shavua Tov?
Yep.
Okay, because I put the blessings up earlier while Rachel was sharing the story. So we are ready to light our candles. And do our blessings. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim borei minei v'samim. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei me'orei ha'esh borei me'orei ha'esh. It's a nice night to feel the warmth of the candle and the flame. And now for the blessing for Havdalah for the separating the distinction between the seventh day and the rest of the days, between sacred and profane, and between the seventh day and all the days of creation. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lechol ben or lechoshech ben yom hashvi'i lesheshet yemei Hamaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. We take in another few moments of Shabbat. When we're ready, then we put our candles out in our wine or juice to savor this and keep it with us through the rest of the week. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera v'yameinu, Yavo Eleinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David. I invite you to unmute to sing the chorus of Eliyahu Hanavi one more time. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu,
Hagiladi.
And we sing together Shabbat with one another.
A week of peace, gladness, rain, joy and peace. A good week, a week of peace, gladness, rain, and joy and peace.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
It's good to have everyone here together. So also on Facebook, and we wish them a Shabbat Tov. For those of you on Facebook, you can join us actually tomorrow morning for Rabbi Rachel's
Across the street, isn't she?
Yes.
in the on Zoom through Sisterhood at 11 o'clock in the morning. We'll be back together next Friday night at 7:30, and then we'll be here next Saturday night at 7.